How's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really kind of excited about this subject. Hey, Serrano. Hey, Usana. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I really do appreciate it. I'm Pete Cospoon, the Angel Encourager. Hey, Testa Catherine. How you doing today? Jenna, how you doing, sweetheart? How's Jersey doing? Is everybody doing well? I'm so excited for everybody to come join me today. Hey, how you doing, sweetie? So I'm Pete Cospoon. I'm the Angel Encourager. You can find me at facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. Today we're going to talk about the Shekinah. Now, if you see me glancing over here, I am taking a look at my notes because I want to make sure I cover everything. Now, the Shekinah is known as the eternal self. What it is it's really, it's who we truly are. Oh, great. It's who we truly are at the very basis of us. In other words, we are in this space. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So the Shekinah is who we are in the total experience of it. In other words, it's our higher being. It's all of us together. And what it really is talking about is how we can so step into the Shekinah. We can so find the Shekinah when we actually start asking, to be able to connect with it. So the idea is, when we have feelings that are bad, when we have these bad feelings, when we experience moments, when we have doubts and fears, and those types of things, instead of judging ourselves, you really want to think of it almost as the soil that comes up when a new green shoot is coming up. So that's the way I want you to think about it. I don't want you to be in a space where you're struggling or you're feeling when you're feeling I can't, the words are just escaping me tonight. I've had a long night tonight, so you'll have to forgive me. But when you have those feelings, is when you're suffering. There we go. That's the word I was trying to think of. When you're suffering through pain, instead of doing that, really start thinking about how, hey, Wendy, thank you so much for joining me. Think about how those points of pain, those things that are coming in your life, those points of judgment, those things that you're experiencing, those things that are coming up for you, those bad memories that are coming up and that type of thing, those bad feelings that things bring to you. It's like the soil that's raising up out of the way when new growth is possible for you. That's the way I want you to start thinking about it. I want you to start getting excited. You can actually get excited when you start feeling those bad feelings, because what that means, bad feelings, what they really are, they're the indicator that we're not viewing things the same way our Shekinah or spiritual guidance sees things. That's the clear guidance, because we're built to always feel good. We're built to always be in joy. Oh, Tamham, I'm so glad that you do, because the reason I'm talking about it is because I need to hear it too. I mean, I'm human. I go through the same thing. So I study this, I look at this, I meditate this, I ask the angels about these different things so that it can help me. And then I love to express it out to other people. So when you feel those feelings of when you're suffering in that pain, when you feel those, when something happens to you and it reminds you of something else, or makes you come to that point of self-judgment, just realize that what that is simply an opportunity for you to grow. It's simply showing you the chaff, the soil that is getting out of the way before the green shoot of your new growth is there possible for you. So what you really want to think about is it even talks about this in the Bible, about how we are really vessels. We're really vessels of which our spirit is poured into. And if our vessels are filled up with fear and doubt and anxiety and worry and all those types of things, it takes up the space for God's love that can fill us up. And when we are filled with God's love, when we're filled with God's love and God's light, then we can just shine it out to the world. I mean, I hope, I still have some fear and self-doubt in myself, but I am so much more filled with the love and light that is available to us through however you think about it, whether it's the angelic realm or spirit or universe or God or Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or Allah. It doesn't matter, as long as it's of love and light. When you empty your vessel of the different fears and the self-doubts, then you're just more able to fill back up with love. And when your cup overflows with love, then you can just pour it out to the whole world. Another way to really think about it is that Source gives us nothing but pure energy, and we're the ones that put the brakes on. We're the ones that cause resistance in our bodies by having the self-doubts and the fears and the self-worth issues and the anxieties and the depressions and all those other things. And it's not about having a sense of judgment. It's just simply kind of realizing how when you put those brakes on, when you have that resistance to pure energy, doesn't that just make you feel bad? Doesn't it make you feel, doesn't it give you a sense of why those self-doubts and those fears actually feel bad? And it's because you're slowing down that energy. It's almost like like having being a dam of water. You know what I mean? And you're the dam holding back that water. Just feel the pressure of all that force of water that comes through that source of water of pure love and joy that's trying to get through to you, and you're slimming it down because you don't think you're worth it. I mean, that's really what it is. So do you see? I mean, it just makes me kind of like hurt to even think about it. And that's why when we slow down, when we resist the good that is coming to us, it makes us not feel good. You know what I mean? That's because we are pure vessels of love at the core of it. But we simply decide through whatever reason to fill ourselves up with self-doubt and fear. So once you start realizing that you really are not this creature of fear, because the Bible even says we're not given the spirit of fear. Once you realize that that's not the way you're built, that's not the way you're designed, then you can be conscious of it, and you can start asking yourself, how can I think of things and how can I live my life from a different viewpoint? Because we're so taught that we change the external and that'll change the internal, and that's not the way it works. I mean, I work with so many different people, and I work with people that you would think are in the perfect places in life. And they're some of the unhappiest people. So I can tell you absolutely everything that you think externally is going to fix your life. There's somebody out there that has that is not happy. And that's not to make you more depressed. It's simply to give you the idea that happiness does not come externally inward. Happiness comes inward and out. It starts with a simple decision of, I am going to somehow, even if I don't have a clue how, I'm going to step into happiness. I'm going to decide today I am worth happiness. I'm going to decide today I'm worth joy. I'm going to decide today that I rock it. No matter how I may feel about myself right here at this moment, I'm going to decide to start looking at my life differently, to start looking at others differently, to start looking at me differently, to take out the judgment and the shame. Those are all conscious choices we make, to have judgment and shame about ourselves and others. And I want you to realize that when people judge and shame you, there's two things happening. Number one, you can only express out to others judgment and shame that you feel for yourself. And number two, you can only receive judgment and shame from someone else if you're judging and shaming yourself. So once you let go of your own judgment and shame, it can't come to you. How you doing, Stephanie? So glad you joined me. Thank you so much. If I look a certain way, I'll be happy. But you're right. Yes, right. There's always going to be somebody that's younger and thinner and better looking and better shape and have more money. And, so if we always are comparing to the other person, and I can tell you right now, I'm at the age of 52. And I've had more people approach me for dates at this age than I've ever had in my entire life. And it's not because I'm some big whatever, I'm just the most gorgeous thing in the world. It's my energy. It's my expectation. It's my belief. It's because I treat me really pretty darn good. And because I treat me good, you show the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. So I could treat myself even better, and gosh help me if I do, what's going to happen at that point? But it's my energy. I know that it's my energy that's bringing people to me. You know what I mean? That's giving me new opportunities. And I mean, I'm at a point in my life, last year was my year of faith, and this is my year of joy. What I mean by that is that I step into joy in every moment that I can. And doors are literally opening before me, before doors close behind me. That's how quick it's happening. It's not because I'm anything special. It's just because I've started doing that. Hey Leah, how you doing, my darling? How you doing this evening? So it's like I always tell my people I talk to, I want you to focus on what brings you bliss. I want you to step into joy. I want you to take inspired action. I want you to walk in faith. And that's what I've been doing. It's been changing my entire life. So I have a question for you. I have a couple questions. So are you more focused? Yes, I am in Alabama. Oh, Mississippi, amazing. So, walking in faith. That's right, Leah. Oh my gosh, and Leah, you are rocking it. I know you are, darling. I know sometimes it doesn't feel, oh, you found me alive. Hey, Carmen. I know sometimes, Leah, darling, it doesn't feel, like it's really coming, but just stay in that faith. Because what is faith? Faith is knowing without seeing. Faith is just having that determination and that absolute expectation without having any physical evidence around you whatsoever that proves it true. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But First, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, are you more focused on your divinity or on your limitation? Which one are you more focused on? And I'm not judging you. I'm just asking you to start take a look at it, and to start taking a look at, which one should I be focused more on? You know what I mean? If I truly am, you took the leap of faith today. I'm so proud of you, Maria. I love that. And that's what it's all about, is taking those leaps of faith to get to the points of where when you feel that inspired action, you just take that leap of faith. It's also important not to have that expectation, if you take that leap of faith, of how it's going to come out. It's, because we think, oh, if I take this inspired action, I do this, this is what's going to happen. Take out that expectation, just let it be what it is, and you'll find out it'll be a magical ride that's even more wonderful than you could even have imagined. Because universal mindset has so many more ideas of what's possible for us than we can conceive of in these brains of ours. Because these human brains, all we can catalog in these human brains are the experiences that we've had and the experiences that others have related to us. So it's been easier for you than your husband? Know, Leah, that as you stand in that faith, as you stand in that joy, he has to either come your way, or he's not even going to be in your sphere. So if he wants to stay with you, he's got to come. So you don't bend down to him, you make him come up to you. And that's going to be such an amazing walk for you. And I think that you're going to see such amazing transformations if you'll stay in that faith, if you'll stay in that joy. So what I really want to ask you, kind of compared to that same question I just asked you, are you more familiar with joy and positive expectation, or are you more familiar with despair and pessimism? Which one are you more familiar with? You had to accept changes and step in faith, absolutely. And life is about change. Life is always about change. We never arrive. Life is a journey. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly, you're more in despair and pessimism. Well, the first, and Tamham, thank you so much for being authentic and coming forward with that. Thank you so, so much about doing that, because the first point of changing anything is recognizing it. Once you've recognized it and you see, and you start correlating, well, how is my life turning out with me focusing on that? Can you see how things, because I used to be a creature of fear, and I had just this whole little laundry list of fears. And I literally could make a roadmap. I mean, I could literally write a script from my fears of what came true. And it's because that's what I was focused on. And that was the point of my life where it changed, where I realized that I'd been focusing on fears, and every one of those fears had come true. And then I could once I realized that was the outcome, I was able to start making the clear, conscious decision to change that around and find another way of thinking. And so thank you so much, Tamham, like I say, for being honest about that and coming forward, because that's going to be the first point for you, is really coming to terms with that and realizing, not judging yourself about it. Your fears keep you stuck. Well, okay, so when you're in those fearful states, I mean, I completely get it. So what you usually want to do, Maria, is what you're usually done is you're focused on what you think is the most important thing. You're focused on that thing that you think you need to fix. Almost like you got to clean the house before you get to before the maid comes. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on the things that are easy for you to think about. We so think, like, say, if we don't have enough money to pay our bills, we keep focusing on the money, keep focusing on the money, keep focusing on the money, keep focusing on the money. So, I mean, I've been through the same process myself. And so what I do is I focus on what is easy. For me, right now, physical fitness is easy. So I focus on my physical fitness. And you know what's happening? My finances are getting better because I'm not focusing on them. So when you focus on those points of fear, they just get larger. So sometimes what you have to do is start focusing on something, another part of your life that's going well. And when you focus on that part of your life that's going well, that you're happy about, and we all have some part of our life that's going well. We have something that we can focus on that's going well. Everything else has to align with it. It's just like I was talking about Leah with her situation and her relationships. If she stays in that point of joy, it has to come back to you. It absolutely does, because I'm going to tell you a little secret. Who wants to hear a little bit of secret tonight? Who wants to hear a secret? Who's ready to hear a secret? Well, nobody's saying anything, but people show me hearts. Like, you want to hear a secret. Right now is an amazing time to be mindful. And what do I mean by that? I mean that most of the world, 90-something% of the world, is living unconsciously. They're simply in reactionary mode. In other words, they wait for something or someone to come do something to them, and then they react. That's how they live their life. I want you to live in actionary mode. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I want you, when you walk into a room, and we've had a couple of people on the scopes this has actually happened to. I don't know if the lady who got the job is on here tonight, but we talked about it that night, and the very next day she got the job. I said, I want you to walk into that room with the clear, focused intention of what the outcome is. I don't want you to ask how it's going to happen, who's going to help you do it, what modalities you're going to use. I want you to walk in, and when I say a room, I'm talking about your entire life, every single moment in life, and you can cut down and you can parcelize your life into whatever space you want to, whether it's driving to work or dealing with this person that you have issues with, or money, or whatever it is. You walk in with a clear, focused intention of this is what's going to happen, and you stay determined through faith that that's what's going to happen. Don't ask how, don't ask who, don't ask any of those questions. You just stay in that focused attention, because I'm telling you what's going to happen. If you walk into that room with that clear, focused intention, because you're living in an actionary mode and everybody else is living in reactionary mode, they're going to start wiggling towards your way of thinking, because you're the only one with a clear, focused intention. Doesn't that even just make sense? And it's absolutely true. It's so absolutely true. I mean, you cannot coerce other people to do things that you want, but you can influence them. And the reason you can influence them is because most people are mindless. And when I say mindless, they're not conscious. They're not making mindful decisions for themselves. They're living in a reactionary mode. So if you start living in an actionary mode, you're so going to be the leader. And that's absolutely the way. Don't let anybody tell you that the situation you're in life means a certain thing. I mean, if Susie Orman were to look at my finances, she'd run crying. But you know what? I've got clothes on my back. I've got gas in my car. Everything that's important is paid. You know what I mean? All is well. I've eaten well today. So what I'm saying to you is, don't let someone else judge your space and tell you this is what this means for you. You decide. You decide what your situation means. You decide where you are right now, what angels around you. I really feel like Archangel Jophiel is around you. Archangel Jophiel is the Archangel of Decluttering. She's also the Archangel of Beauty. So she's really asking you to declutter your mind, which is exactly what we're kind of talking about tonight. Decluttering your mind of those things that no longer serve you. Decluttering your spaces, including your home, your car, your office, of all those things that no longer serve you. And just have the things that you either think are beautiful or that serve you in those spaces. So another thing I was really going to talk about is about people that say, hey, from Ohio, how you doing this evening? So another thing I want to talk about, really kind of related to this, is when people say, and they absolutely will. The wonderful thing is about when you're in a space where you're really, 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 really asking, you're really, 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 really being given help. The problem is, like I was speaking about earlier, just like with all the power and all the, say like you're a dam and all the water coming through, when you restrict that water, only drops can get through. So how do you allow that help to get into you is going to be your next question to me, I know, because I'd be asking the same thing. What you want to do is you want to get into that mindset of the universe. You want to get that mindset, okay? So that's where you're at. You're in a pleading state, which means you're in this state of lack. And I'm not judging you, darling. I'm just telling you where you are, because I've been there. Pete's been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly. I've been so down on my knees for months and years asking for help, pleading for help, at the point of where I was ready to just end it all because I couldn't stand it anymore. And what you want to do is you want to find some way to step into joy. Because when you're in joy, that's when you have spiritual guidance. That's when you start understanding, you start getting that clear guidance from Spirit, because Spirit only deals in a space of joy. I mean, if you have ever wondered about, like, why when I'm in fear, why when I'm in anxiety, why when I'm in despair, do I feel alone? I mean, you can be in a room of 3,000 people and have fear, and you feel completely alone. You feel and the reason is because you're cut off from spiritual connection. You're completely cut off. But when you're in a state of joy, you can be in a room all by yourself and you feel surrounded by love. You are love. Hey, PCA Angel, how you doing tonight? If everybody isn't following my PCA_Angel, they need to do it. Boy, rocks. He absolutely rocks. Oh, thank you for inviting followers. You're so sweet. He knows I love him to pieces. So yeah, so it's about, hey, friend. So it's about stepping into those moments of joy. And when you told me who my angels were and to talk to them, yes, absolutely. Because people are always asking me, they're saying, how do I speak to angels? How do I, and it's about just talking to them. That's what it's all about, I'm telling you. Because when you just invite them into your everyday world, because we're the ones that give things meaning. I mean, to the angels, it's all just packets of energy. It's absolutely all packets of energy. To the angels, There's no difference between a castle button. A bad relationship is the same as a good relationship. A beat-up Volkswagen is the same as a Mercedes. Hey, Scooches, how you doing, sweetheart? We're the ones that give it value. We're the ones that give it meaning. We're the ones that say it's hard or easy, expensive or cheap. We're the ones that do that. So what I'm saying to them, saying to you, is that you can ask, hey, how you doing, Dream Chandler? You can ask the angels for anything that is. We are sort of taught to only invoke heaven. Honey, you have angels with you all the time, and because you've been asking so much, I'm really getting right now that there's at least 5 to 10 angelic. There's 5 archangels with you, and there's 5 lower angels. When I say lower, they're still angels that are with you right now at this point. And it's about you stepping into those points of joy. It's going to give you that spiritual guidance. So what I want you to do is I want you to take rest. I want you to take some deep belly breaths. And when I say a belly breath, what I mean is I want you to actually see your stomach push out when you take this down. I want you to take 4 deep belly breaths. Because what that does for you is when your mind is in a state of turmoil, when your mind is in a state of duress, when your mind is in a state of despair, what you can do is you can start acting as if you're a relaxed person. If you start taking those deeper, calm, slow breaths, what happens is your mind goes, they're acting as though they're relaxed. Perhaps I should change my brain waves and pretend like I'm relaxed too. And then before you know it, you're relaxed. And what happens when you're relaxed? All of a sudden you realize it's just not quite so bad as you thought it was. And then the next thing you know, you get this inspiration to call this person or go over here or do that. And a lot of the things that you thought were problems suddenly become no longer problems. It's absolutely amazing how things just seem to fix themselves, or the next thing you know, you wake up in the morning and you have this brilliant idea of, oh, I could try this. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take those inspired actions, not with any idea of the expectation of how it's going to turn out, but just take those inspired actions, just follow them, and stay in faith, and keep yourself in the highest state of joy that you possibly can. And it's a conscious decision. It's a constant conscious decision. And if you make that your habit, that's where you'll be. I mean, I can tell you this because that is exactly where I am. It's exactly how I've lived my life. So I want to talk about how a lot of people say, well, I'm just a realist. Well, I've got another little secret for you. Do you know what reality really is? Who wants to know what reality really is? Who's out there? Who wants to know? I'm kind of excited. I want to know too. Who wants to know what reality really, really, truly is? What really reality is for us? Who wants to know? Come on. You want to know what reality really is. I love it. So, what we're currently surrounded by right now at this very moment, what you're surrounded by, where you are, what you see, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel, those are just the culmination of your past expectations and beliefs. It's just the leftover. It's just the cake you took out of the oven. So that's not really reality. You know what reality is? Reality is your thoughts and your beliefs and your expectations in your mind. Because that's what's happening. What's happening right now is where you are right here. So what I'm saying to you is don't let yourself be limited by what you see around you. Because the mind is limitless. And I'm going to tell you this, if you can think about it, if you can conceive of it in your brain, it has to be possible. If we truly have a loving God, which I know that we do, how in the world would He allow us to be able to conceive of something that's not possible for us? How cruel would that truly be? And we don't have a cruel God. We have a loving God. So no, darling, I'm here. I try to be on here at least once or twice a day. I do, and I do a morning joy jam on the way to work, usually in the morning too, around 8 o'clock on Central Standard Time. So try to catch, or 7:30, I guess it actually is 7:40, depending on whatever time I'm going to work. But if you want to connect more with me, go to Facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. You're off a hook. Go to Facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. You can get on my newsletter. You can private message me. You can look at some of my different programs. Usually I take my scopes and I put it over there. Of course, scopes are kept on here for 24 hours, but I usually try to put my scopes over there as well. And so I would love for you to connect with me in any way, even if it's just to get on my newsletter, just to say hi in a message. I get back to absolutely everybody that messages me. I absolutely do. I love speaking with people and being there. And just, and believe me, it helps me as I help others. So, some of you guys may have really kind of missed the very first part of what we were really talking about. Hey, Sherilyn. So, what we were really talking about is the Shekinah. And what is the Shekinah? The Shekinah is the eternal self. The Shekinah is the fullness of who we truly are. That is what the Shekinah is. So, that is what we're always being called forth. Oh, thank you, Maria. You're so sweet. The Shekinah is what we're always being called forth to become. Because we're spiritual beings having a human existence right now at this space. And as we learn through life to clear out the fears and the low self-worth and the self-doubt and the anxieties and the depression and all that, as we learn to clear those out of ourselves, we become these empty vessels that can then be filled with the light and the love of God. And then when we do that, do you know what happens? Then we get to pour it out to the world. And you know what happens when you pour your overflowing love out to the world? You get filled up with more love. I mean, it's just amazing. It's like this never-ending flow of love. Absolutely, it's just the most amazing, amazing thing. And then it is so easy at that point, once you've just gone through that, once you've gone through those states, it's so easy that at that point you just step into joy in really almost every moment in life. I mean, I have my times too. I absolutely do. So another little key thing that I've done is I've found my little circle of friends, my little circle of people that I can turn to, and I just, call them up or Skype them or message them, and what they'll do is they'll take me out of my less than mindful state, because Pete gets unmindful sometimes myself. I go unconscious, and they'll pull me up and they'll be like, "You're being unmindful," and I'm like, ugh. Sometimes it's such a pain in the butt to have mindful friends, because sometimes you just want to stew in your little pity party. I mean, I get that. And I'm actually thinking of starting a new program called From Pity to Party. Wouldn't that be fun? What do y'all think about that? What would you think about a new program called From Pity to Party? I think that would be amazing. Or From Doorknob to Dynamic. I'm coming up with all these new ideas of new programs that, hey, Bullies Out One, how you doing? So, does anybody have any kind of questions? Yeah, you like those? Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything we can really talk about? I'll probably stay in here for a little bit longer. Your friends like Ty. Well, that sounds great. Do you do readings? I do readings. I absolutely do. I haven't done a reading in a long time. So, Julie, if you would give me a subject or a topic, I would love to do a reading for you. We'll see what comes up for you, Julie. Just a subject or a topic that you're focused on right now, that you'd like some clarity on. And we'll go from there and see what comes up. Because you never know. I never know. The future. Oh, okay. So just the future, we're just going to it's kind of general. Now, the more general you are, the more general the reading will be. But that's totally cool if that's what you want to go for. Okay. Let's see what we get. And it actually has been quite a few days since I've done a reading. It's interesting to me. I've been so many new opportunities have been coming my way here lately. I'm about to move offices in a couple weeks, and some other wonderful things are happening for me that I've been, a little busy, so I haven't, been doing. But I'm telling you, when I move to the new office, I'm going to be more like on my own, and I'm going to be doing a whole lot more scoping. So in about 3 weeks, I'm going to start really going crazy with it, creating new programs, having a lot more scopes, a lot more connections. So we're really going to rock this. And I'd really like to get my scopes up. In fact, I'll tell you what, who is out there, who is willing to go ahead and invite some followers here? I don't think I've ever had over, say, 40 people in a program, in a scope before. And I would love to see, just if you feel resonated with it. And Leah, I'm wanting it to be awesome for all of us, okay? I want it to be awesome for you as well. I don't want to just get up on this space and be all by myself. I want to take us all with me. Oh, thank you, Leah, for sharing it out. You're so sweet. Okay, so for the future, and look, oh my gosh, you all are so sweet. So let's see here. Let's see what we get for you for the future. Okay. So, the first card for you, I believe it was Julie. The first card for you is the Courage card. This is Archangel Ariel. And she's really calling you forth to really stand in your space. And there you go, Leah. I love that. Excited for all of us. This is about you standing in your space. This is about you having the courage to stand up for who you truly are. It's about not only that, but it's about you being really clear about who you are and what your stance is. Hey, from Cyprus, how you doing, Helen? I get for you that there's been, you've kind of almost been like a little bit of a follower. You've allowed other people to tell you who you are and what you should be in anyone's space. So Archangel Ariel is really kind of asking you to, or she is asking you actually, to step into the space of your authentic self, to really kind of embody your own being. This is something that I kind of do. I have a tattoo on my arm, and it's a lizard. His name is Spike, and Spike is sort of like my alter ego, kind of like Beyonce with Sasha Fierce. And so what I mean by that is sometimes you have to create this alter ego, where if you feel like you need to get more present or more in power in a moment, you can be like, I say, what would Spike do in this situation? And that makes me more emboldened. So for you, it's really about you standing in your courage. It's about you becoming more authentically you and really standing up about who you are and not going by what other people are telling you. I want you to listen to your own gut instinct as far as, does this resonate for me? Is this my truth? Because that's another thing I often talk about is I want you to have your truth. I don't want you to have my truth. I mean, I love that you're listening to me, and if it resonates with you, amazing. If it doesn't resonate with you, amazing. Because what I want you to do is I want you to come to your truth. I don't want you to just take on my truth. I want you to take on your own truth. Okay, so I hope that helps you. First off, Julie, that's your first card. The second card for you is the Angel Therapy card. So they're telling me right now that you're going through some things that are making you feel like a little wonky. They want you to just know that you are surrounded by the higher angelic realm, that they're really there helping to bring you into a space where you're going to be bringing forth those things that you've really been wanting to bring forth. They're showing me, yeah, that you've been a little bit unhinged here lately. They're showing me that they just want you to know that you have that support here with you right now at this space. So the next two cards is really interesting. The next two cards are with Archangel Jophiel. Archangel Jophiel is the Archangel of Beauty. She's also the Archangel of Decluttering, and that's what this card is right here. It's about clearing your space. So it's about letting go of all those things in your mind and in your home and in your car and your office space and all the spaces that you have, letting go of the things that no longer serve you. Starting to, maybe even like make lists of this serves me and this doesn't serve me. Like maybe even with thoughts and that type. Yeah, and it's amazing because objects that we have in our home, objects that we have around us, take energy from us. So that's why when you give things away to the thrift store, it feels so freeing, it feels so refreshing, because it literally takes energy from us to have things around us. Now, some things feed us back, but they do take energy. So if they take energy from us and they don't feed anything back, then we're at an energy deficit. And that's when you really want to just clear those spaces. And the other card from Archangel Jophiel is the Outdoors card. Now, what this is really talking about is that is when we get our closest spiritual connection a lot of times. It's when we're outdoors, because nature is always in spiritual alignment. And when we step out into those outdoors and we start enjoying the outdoors, that's when we can get ourselves into alignment also. So for you right now, it's really about clarifying who you are, having the courage, knowing that you're surrounded and taken care of, clearing out your spaces, and really getting outdoors and really starting to breathe in that natural air and see those natural wonders and really get into your own spiritual connection. And from there, darling, it's really up to you what you want to bring forth. But for right now, I really feel it's a sense of you clarifying, of you clearing, you're getting clear about who you are, and you're getting your spaces and your mind clear. And then the sky's the limit from that point. There's no edict as far as who you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to do. That's up to you. The only thing that you really asked for is to really just step into joy in every moment. You have to find those points of bliss, because those points of bliss, those points of excitement, those are the points of clarity for you. That is clear spiritual guidance. If you ever feel excited about something or joyful about something or blissful about something, that is clear spiritual guidance. That is heading you in the direction that is going to get you to what you desire the quickest way. So that's, so follow those points of bliss, follow those points of joy, follow those points of excitement, and realize that is clear spiritual guidance, because that's the realm that they stay in all the time. I mean, can you imagine? And we're able to do that as well if we will allow ourselves to. It's just like I was talking before about with the power. You're very welcome, darling. It's what I was talking about before, with how you sure can, Dream Channeler. Can you tell me a subject or a topic that you would like a reading on? We'll do Dream Channeler and we'll do you, Marie. Okay, darling? So Dream Channeler, if you will give me a subject or topic that you would like for me to tune in for you, I would be more than happy to, because I'll probably be on here for another 15, 20 minutes or so. Alrighty. You're welcome, Maria. So what was your subject or topic for me, my friend, Dream Channeler? And then Maria, you'll be next. subject topic. And he's thinking about it. I love it. So I'll talk a little bit more about my key points that I always tell people. I want you to, find those things that you can focus on that bring you bliss and joy, and give yourself an allowance to focus on that. Because so many times we think, oh, I've got to take care of these situations before I'm really able to step into those spaces. But you starting your own business, interesting. Okay, I love that. All right, let's take a look for the dream channeler. It is so true, Fusion 7. And it's all about what we decide to tune into. Just like in a jury trial, two eyewitnesses can have exactly different viewpoints of what happened because of their perspective of where they are. So just because somebody tells you something is the truth does not necessarily mean that it is. You have to find your own truth in this life. So we're looking at business dream channeler. Okay. So the first one are some steps, and then the final card's really kind of cool. So the first card for you is the clear audience card. So it's so much about you just becoming aware of the different guidance that you're hearing in your head. And so what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, hey Stephanie, how you doing today? So what you want to do is you want to start asking yourself, the messages that I'm getting in my mind, what is coming from ego and what is coming from spirit? And the way you can tell is if it's coming from ego, it's judgment. It's saying you're not enough. You didn't do this right. Or if you hadn't done that, or if this person had done that to you, blah, 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 the whole thing. But when you start feeling called forth, but you feel called forth in love, you feel excitement, you feel anticipation about it. When you feel that, that is clear guidance. So it's about starting to understand which messages are really there to call you forth and which are there just to knock you over the head. We don't want to be knocked on the head. We've been knocked on the head enough. It's time, because I'm going to tell you one thing for right now. The time of victimhood is over. The time of martyrdom is over. It's time, yes, it's time for us to step into clarity. It's time for us to stand into our victory. That's what time it is. Time of victimhood and the time of martyrdom is gone. Boom. Drop the mic, it's over. I love it. The next one is the clear cognizance card. It's just talking about the same thing, about you just being really, really in tune to the thoughts and the ideas that are coming to you, really paying attention to them, the ones that are coming from and feel like they're in spiritual alignment. So that's really important for you because you got two cards back to back on that. So that's where we're starting with for you, is by getting really clear about which messages, because I kind of get an idea that you're wanting to do this, and yet some people are telling you no, and then you're feeling like, well, am I a fool for doing this? And perhaps your situation right now is somewhat stable, but you're not happy, and you really want to move into a new space, and so you're getting all these mixed messages in your head. One day you feel like one thing, and then 5 minutes later you're thinking another thing, and I totally get that. So it's about you starting to realize which guidance is coming from where, and which one is for your highest good. So that's the first point for you. The next one for you is the chakra clearing card. So this is about you just getting into that full alignment from the head to the toes. Well, it's definitely the way it works. When we're all in a group like this together, we all get kind of the same reading. So it's about you having that full alignment. Hey, darling, how you doing today? That full alignment from your body, mind, and spirit. About you just getting clear, because we have these amazing body, mind, spirit systems that will absolutely let us know where we are at any one space and time, and how spirit is thinking about the same thing. I often talk about, for me, when I get a pain right here in my forehead, it's ego saying, "Ugh." If I get a pain in my stomach, it's spirit saying, "Ugh." And if I get chills in my shoulders, it's clear indication that they're excited about what I'm talking about or what I'm thinking about, and I'm giving guidance to go forward. So it's about you, just kind of clearing out your system and getting in line, taking those deep breaths, getting out of the sympathetic system. The sympathetic system is the fight or flight, and getting into that parasympathetic system. Because when you're in the sympathetic system, when you're in that fight or flight, you can't get spiritual connection. You absolutely can't, because you're blocked off. When you're in the parasympathetic system and you're in that relaxed state, you're in that natural flow, The ideas can flow through you, the guidance can flow through you so freely, and then you can go forth and have that pure spiritual guidance. The last card for you, Dream Channeler, is the Passion card. So what they're really telling me with you for this is that it's time for you to start working your passion, for you to just find out what your passion is, because passion is energy. Passion is energy. Passion is also pure spiritual guidance. And it's us that slow down the flow. I mean, there's pure power coming straight down to us. And that's right. What's a way to find our passion? Start making a list of the things that make you joyful. I mean, just start looking for things that make you joyful and just go from there. Does that help you, Dream Channeler? I'm sure hoping it did. So that's clear guidance to you that it is time for you to do what it is that brings you passion. And it's really time for all of us to do that. But really kind of get yourself clear, my friend, in mind, body, and spirit. Listen for that pure guidance and then go for it. Now, Maria, you were going to be next, sweetheart. What would be a subject or topic that I can do a reading for you on, darling? Be more than happy to. You still there with me, Maria? So I'll get back to what I was talking about before while we wait for Maria to come up with a subject or topic for us. I was talking about, finding that point of focus. Tamham, you sure can. You sure can. So we're waiting for Maria to give us a subject or a topic. Find those points of things that you can focus on that bring you joy, bring you bliss, bring you excitement, relationship. All right. I kind of knew that's where you were going to go, but I wanted to hear you say it so I can make sure. Then after you find that focus, I want you to stay focused on that. I want you to find those steps of joy that will take you up to the next higher feeling. I want you to listen for inspired action. And I want you to walk in faith. That's how I want each and every single one of you to live your life. Man, this has come up so many times tonight. Okay. The first card for you, Maria, is the Clear Your Space card. We have seen this so many times tonight, and I actually do a 4-card shuffle. I mean, I've shuffled 4 times before I pull these, so I do shuffle these quite extensively. So the first card is Jophiel asking you to really clear your space, and what I'm getting for you in this instance is really to clear out, decide at this point with your relationship that you're going to start at this point. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's time for you well, I've got one other person in front of you. As long as I have enough time, just make sure I have enough time. But for the first phase for you in your relationship is to see if you and your partner can start at this point at a new space. See if you can have a talk with this person and say, hey, I'm willing to, at this point, for us to start fresh and go from that point. So that's the first part, is the really clearing the space of the relationship. In other words, clearing out all the past and just letting go and releasing and forgiving at this point. That's the first part. The second part is the counselor card. I'm so getting for you that there's going to be ability for you in this space, and also that you need to seek out those that are truly going to have your best self-worth in mind. They're going to be there. They're going to be sort of like your monitor. And also that you're going to be a counselor not only to yourself but others in this situation. But I'm really hearing for you right now, for you to seek out those that are going to give you that clear guidance, that are not going to, don't have the ulterior motive. They really just they have your highest good at heart. So that what I want you to do is I want you to assess what they're telling you about how you're feeling in your gut. If what they tell you gives you peace, there you go. If what they tell you makes you go, then go the other way. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to start seeking out those that are going to give you that guidance. That's really going to help, but not just to listen straight to them, but to really listen in, to what they're saying to you, to see if that really resonates, and to use those points of contact that you have and seek those people that are really going to be there for you. Okay, good. All right. And so I want you to have them help you monitor your space? And are you thinking, because there's probably patterns that you're moving into. We all have these relationship patterns, and I have them myself. I just went through it again. I'm like, I'm here again. And what that means for us, that means for all of us, is it's just a lesson that we're being asked to learn. And I know for me personally, what I had to do for myself was I had to get into that space where I knew that this was just a pattern. And what that meant was I asked myself, I was like, what does this remind me of? And then I went back to that space and I started asking myself, well, is that really true? Or, because what happens is we create these patterns when we're very young children, and we don't really have the mindset of how to really, oh, thank you so much. We don't really have the mindset of how to deal with these situations, so we come up with these patterns that help us to go through life. The thing of it is we hang on to these patterns, but we can change those patterns later on. So when you start seeing those situations coming back over and over and over again, start getting excited, because that means, right, because get excited because that means there's a lesson there for you. There's a lesson if you start asking yourself, start looking at it from a different viewpoint. Ask yourself, what is this reminding me of? And usually it's very young in your childhood. And for me, it was father issues. It was very much, I was trying to find some man to say he loved me because I never had a father that told me he loved me. And so I found out, so once I realized that, it was like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. You know what I mean? And I'm still repeating the pattern a little bit, but I'm being much more conscious of it. So it's just allowing yourself to be, oh, thank you so much. I always tell my authentic tale because I know that it not only helps me, I know it helps others as well. And it's really coming from that point of authenticity, I believe. It's always in the right question. Oh, gosh, you're a good girl. You are good. I love that. So the next card for you is the Divine Order card. So what this is saying for me is you need to let go of the judgment. Here's something happening to my father. Okay. But you're in this space, I think, right now where you're really kind of judging yourself for being in this situation again. And it's about you realizing that you're exactly where you should be right now at this space. Where you are is in divine order. To let go of that judgment. To let go of that judgment. To let go of that sense that you're not enough or that you've done something wrong. Let go of that right now, because they're showing me for you that you're exactly where you should be right here at this point, and it's up to you if you're going to look for the opportunity or if you're going to look for the challenge. Because what we have in I'll tell you, get a little bit physicky right here, because I love physics. I have a math degree, so I kind of get in that side too. We have what is called a reticular activating system in our brain. And what it does is it goes out and it picks out all the relevant points of data that surround us at any one moment. Because at any one moment, we're surrounded by billions of points of data. And how do we process all that? We can't. So we have a reticular activating system that pulls out what's relevant to us. Now, how does it decide what's relevant to us, you ask? I know that's the next question because y'all are some smart people. It decides what's relevant to us by what we're focusing on. So what I'm saying to you is if you're focused on the challenge, your reticular activating system is going to go out there and pull out all the facts that correlate to challenge. If you're focused on opportunity, your reticular activating system is going to go out there and pull out all the points of data that correspond to opportunity. And then it's going to place it into your mind here, where you're then going to start processing it. But you can understand that if your head is filled with nothing but challenges, points of data from challenge, that's all you're going to see, that's all you're going to be able to process from. But if your head is filled with points of data from, right, if you're filled with points of data from opportunity, that's all you're going to see, and that's all you're going to process from. It's that simple. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool to know? That's pretty darn cool to know. So, the last card for you, darling, interesting, is the Clairsentience card. We've really kind of talked about that. It's really about coming into tune with our different feelings and emotions that keep recurring, physical and emotional feelings, and realizing that those are signs, that I think you're number 3, Tamham, I believe, was next, and then somebody else, and then you. But you can also go to Facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. You can go to Facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. You can sign up for my newsletter. You can also, I also, of course, do private readings. We can go pretty much in depth in private readings. I also have a number of different programs and things that I do, webinars. I have a webinar on Thursday I'm a little bit scared of. It's part of my 7-part series of Creating Your Personal Paradise, and one on Thursday is on relationships and great sex, which really has me kind of freaked out just a little bit, but it's something that the angels really want me to teach on. This is number 6 of the 7. Do you love my... Oh, you're so sweet, Maria. I'm so glad you do. I'm so glad you do. So, Maria, was that helpful to you? Was that helpful? I'm hoping. It's about you just, clearing your space. I think they will love it. It's about clearing your space. It's about finding that guidance from others, that resonates with you, realizing that you're where you should be, and just to learn take the opportunity from this moment right now to listen to how you feel, you and your body and mind, and what this is really directing you to for your highest good. Now, Tamham, were you next, darling? Were you the next one for a reading tonight? Oh, good. All right, Tamham, what is a subject or a topic that I can help you with tonight? Give me a subject or topic. Hi, Deepak. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining me. Love, future, loneliness. Now, usually when somebody does that, when they have all these issues right here they put forth, they're all going to be related. So relationship, love, future, and loneliness. Okay. Now, what they're telling me right now for you, for number 1, is, you teach the world how to treat you. So you cannot receive love that you don't give to yourself. If you don't open up your vessel of love to yourself, then you're not able to receive love to anyone else. No matter if Brad Pitt showed up at your door today right now with 3 dozen red roses and told you he loved you. If you're not in a space where you can receive that because you don't love yourself, it's not going to work out. So that's where it starts from. It starts from a point of self-love, and also with the loneliness. That is because you're feeling really kind of cut off from spiritual connection, because you're in this space right now, and I feel it right here. Oh, I feel it right here. Let's release that a little bit. Oh, that came on really strong. Okay. All right, releasing that. Oof, that were icky. We don't have time for that. It's really about this space. Not even Brad, yeah. Though I'd love for him to show up at my front door with 3 dozen roses. But anyway, that's another subject. But right. Oh, that's not an issue. No, I love doing that. I love that I was able to clear that for you. But I want you to start not coming from a point of really self-judgment, because that's where I really that's where I really feel it is for you, is this point of self-judgment. Oh, okay. Interesting. So the first card for you is the nurture card, and this is so much about you taking care of yourself, darling. This is exactly what I was just talking about. It's that you taking care of yourself, because you are worth it. Who is the most important person in your life, Ham? You. You are the most important person in your life, because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of anyone else. So you are the most important. I want you to become the most selfish, be something in the entire world. And I mean, I don't want you to be mean, but I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to absolutely take care of yourself. I mean, I'm getting real with you, sister. You take care of yourself right now, because when you fill your vessel up with love, it's going to start overflowing, and then you're just going to, you're going to pour it out to the world. And that's where I am. I take care of myself. And I don't take care of myself as best as I can, as I probably should, but I take care of myself enough to where I am so filled up with love that it just naturally pours out from me. So that's the first thing for you. Take care of yourself, girl. We're calling you on the carpet on that. So that's the first part for you. The second part, how many times have we seen this card tonight? Archangel Jophiel with Clear Your Space. Like I say, I shuffle these cards 4 times between readings, and Archangel Jophiel, sometimes transition souls come to me, not all the time. Amen, sister. That's interesting that you bring that up, Wendy, because I've always known that it's going to be one of my gal friends that introduces me to the one. I've always just known that. So that's true. And actually, right now, it's amazing. I'm 52, and I have had so many amazing, beautiful ones coming to me. It's just that they're not quite working out, but they're almost like flooding through the door. It's kind of really amazing. But anyway, so that's another point. But anyway, so Archangel Jophiel, let's get back on subject for Tamham. I love it. It's about clearing your space. It's about clearing and decluttering your mind. And I'm really kind of even getting so interesting. They're really showing me is your physical space ready for love? Is your physical space ready for a relationship? Interesting. Is it, hmm. Hmm. Drop the mic out the door. There you go. That's what Archangel Jophiel is telling me for you. You need to prepare. You need to prepare yourself for love and for decluttering of all these other things. They move for a long time. What have you been waiting for? What have you been waiting for? Does it bring you joy to think about moving? Oh, you have a specific person in your life. Is it holding me back? Okay. Are they asking you to hold back, or is it because you're waiting? Have I ever been? Oh my gosh, I've been in love so many times. It's like Pete falls in love every week, because it's when we see, and I do. And Tamham, the reason I'm saying this, oh, they're asking you to hold back. Is that fair though? Because who's the most important person in Tamham's life? Who's the girl, icky, ew, icky. I just got the icky all over me, Tamham. Ew, codependent. I've been there, done that. See, well, who's the most important person in Tamham's life? Who's the most important person? Come on, tell us. Who's the most important person in Tamham's life? You are living your life. Don't let them live your life too. They're living their own life, and that's the life they have the right to. Guess whose life they do not have a right to? You. They do not have a right to your life. You have a right to your life. Right? You have a right to your life, darling. You're a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. Absolutely. It's right. That's right. Stop self-sacrificing, girl, because the time of martyrdom is over. The time of victimhood is over. It is time for you to stand up in victory. It's time for you to friggin' decide what you want for Tamham. Period. Point blank. End of story. What does Tamham want? It's like, of course you know what to do, because we always know what to do. We're just not going to allow ourselves to do it because we don't think we're worth it. And I'm telling you right now, number one, I'm an energy booster, because I'm letting this person call us. But who's making that decision, Tamham? Who makes the decision to let the other person call shots due to fear of life and past pain? Right. Fear of life. Your fear of living. I mean, are you afraid to live? Or are you afraid for your life? Which one is it? Are you afraid of living? And the past is the past, darling. The past is gone. Fear of suffering. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. Well, right now, darling, you're suffering right now. You're absolutely suffering right now. And are you really feeling companionship? Are you really feeling companionship right now at this point? You say fear of loneliness, but are you really feeling companionship in this space? And so the person in the past, yes, I am. No, I'm not. Okay. Well, and that's totally, and sometimes it's going to be that change. Now, we don't want to run. But if we're getting clear indications of where we want to go, then, Lou, that's not very nice. Now, you don't want to get kicked out of my scope now, do you? Because we're not going to be in that space. So I'm going to give you another chance, because that really was not great. And don't listen to that. Yes, that's right, Tamham. You're so surrounded. So the next card for you is the Remember Who You Are card. The Remember Who You Are card is letting you know that you are not pathetic, darling. You are not pathetic. Where you are at an amazing space right now to make a choice. I see you right now on a cliff, and you have wings. And actually there's a bridge right there in front of you, but you can't see it because you're looking down. You're looking down, darling. And all you have to do is walk across that bridge of faith, knowing that you're worth it. And you know what the most amazing thing is? And this happens to me all the time, especially when I'm working out, because I have a physical trainer, and there's so many spaces that he'll ask me to do something, and I'll say to Josh, I'll say, do you know that I can do this? And he'll say, yes, I do know that you can do this. And I'll tell him, because Pete faith is gone. And then I step into Josh faith, and you know what? I do it. So what I'm saying to you, Tamham, is that all of us here, okay, darling, you are going, bye-bye. Okay, so Tamham, what I'm really getting for you, or what I'm really wanting to say to you, is that now that Lou is gone, who would not show his face, and he's blocked, thank you, um, is that all of us here in this space are holding you up. All of us are believing in you. All of us are calling you forth in love. I want you to know that I believe in you. I love you. The angels believe in you. The angels love you. We're supporting you, and we're asking you to remember who you are. And who are you? Who are you? You are a powerful creator. You are a proclaimer of what is. With the sound of his voice, God called forth the heaven and the earth, the sun and the moon. And we are told in Psalms that we're God's. We're told in it's really interesting. I was really looking at the Exodus story the other day about how they were in the state of the really desperation and kept asking and asking, and finally were led out of Egypt, and then they roamed for 40 years in the desert. But the whole time they were in the desert, they were fed the whole time. But then they created false gods to try to help themselves. And the whole time we were told that it was from the lack of vision that people perished. So what it is for you, darling, is for, hey, how you doing, Diamond? It's about you getting a vision for yourself, for yourself. This is so about you, Tamham. This is about you, girl, you realizing who you are. And realizing that right now, right now you're in that desert. You're being fed with manna, but there's an enchanted kingdom waiting for you. So the angels show me so often how we're all living in the guard shack up front with no plumbing, and there's an entire mansion fully staffed behind us, just waiting for us to move into. And all we have to do, oh, you can go prepare for yours. All we have to do is realize that we're worth it. And then walk through the door in faith. It's a flaming doorway of fear. I know it is. But you know what happens when you walk through that flaming doorway of fear? You're like the phoenix bird. It burns off all the, hey, Great Gold, thank you so much for inviting people. When you walk through that flaming doorway of fear, it burns off all that. And then you see, oh, that really wasn't as bad as it. See, I know you are. That's why I want you to get ready. I want you to get excited, Tamham, because you are ready. I feel that. I see it. I so see it for you. You're right there on the verge. You're on the verge of saying, I'm not going to take this crap anymore. And you can go blunt yourself. I mean, you can just go, you want to do it in love, but sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes. So do not let so-and-so hold you back, because they are not allowed to live your life. And you're the one that gives up. You're the one that gives up the power. I don't want you to judge yourself for that. I want you just I want you to celebrate that right now you're at the point of where you're saying enough is enough. Get out that song. I love that song. Of course, I'm a child of the 70s. Enough is enough is enough with Barbra Streisand. Get out that song and start singing it, girl. And absolutely, music and movement can so put you in a state of joy and a state of power. So, okay, the last card for you is a sensitivity card. And what this is really saying is that, right now you're at a space of, changing and becoming new. And I want you to be real sensitive to yourself and those that are in the situation, because even that one that you're in a codependent relationship with, because you're no longer the same person you were when you came into the scope. You're no longer the same person. You are now changed. You are now a new creature. You are now a new being. You will no longer be able to live the way you did before, because you don't want to, because you're worth more than that. You can't do that anymore for yourself, because you're important. But now is a time for you to be sensitive to yourself as you go through that growth, and sensitive to those that are surrounding you. Earlier this year, I had been asking, at the end of last year, I had been asking for more spiritual energy, knowing full well what I was asking for. So I went to Key West and went to this beautiful place called the Butterfly House, where they incubate and grow butterflies 365 days a year. And it was the most magical experience of my entire life. I was given so much download and so much energy from Spirit. But do you know what happened afterwards? Afterwards, I was mad, and I was sad, and I was crying, and I was yelling at people, and I was just all over the place. So it's about you being sensitive, that when you go through those states of growth and expansion, you're not always going to go through them gracefully, but you're going to go through them authentically. So give yourself the sensitivity right now There's going to be points of where you're mad and sad and angry and frustrated and then happy and excited and crying and yelling at people and all that kind of stuff. But just be mindful. You can be mindful that, hey, I'm just growing through this experience. Give yourself that sensitivity. So, how are you feeling, Tan Hand? Because you are a different person now. I can feel that. I can feel that you're in a different space. I can feel you're in a different space. And if you want to, I would love for you to message me at facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. We can work on this. We can, I will definitely get back with you. I'm not sure, is Atlanta 2400 next? I know you were on the list, sweetheart. I think Tanham was keeping up with it for me. Oh, are you next? I'm not really sure. Okay, how about either one, either or Atlanta, whoever gives me the topic or subject first, I'll do them, and then I'll do the other one next. How's that? Okay, so Atlanta, what is your topic or subject, darling? And then Marionette will get you afterwards. Okay. So Atlanta, what was your topic or subject? Financial. Okay. And then we'll do motivation for Marionette. So hey, everybody, help me remember that, because Pete can be a shiny squirrel person sometimes. All right. So Atlanta on financial. All right. Yes, because we all want to know about our money. I get that. And that's cool. The first thing to really understand about money is that money does not want to be a god. And we have, in this time and age, have really made money a god. We've said, when I have this much money, I'll do this. When I have that much money, I'll do that. Or I'm not worth this much because my bank account isn't this high. Money never wanted to be a god. Money is simply a tool. Money is like a shovel out in the shed. That's all money is. Money wants to be there for us to use. That's all. So stop letting money be the tool, or being it's like energy. And realize that everything that we desire doesn't necessarily have to come to us from energy, from money. Money doesn't have to be the way everything flows into our life. If you get excited about having money, yes, focus on money. But if it's what you want to bring into your life from money that brings you excitement, that's what I want you to focus on, because it's those points of bliss. It's those points of excitement. It's those points of joy. There's clear spiritual guidance of that's where you should be focused upon. That's what I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on this much money in your checking account, unless that excites you. What I want you to focus on is, if it's what you want to bring in with the money, that's what I want you to focus on, because it doesn't always come to you through money. Somebody might have an extra one, or, I have the most amazing stories of like people that have, not had a place to live, and then they had somebody that was going out of country for 6 months and said, would you mind house sitting my beautiful home for me for 6 months? That happens all the time. In fact, I know of I believe it's 3 or 4 people that have told me that this has happened to. So what I'm saying to you, they didn't have to pay a dime. It didn't come through money. It came through connection. It came through spiritual guidance. It came through however in the heck it happens. It's not even for me to really say how it necessarily happens, but it just happens. So focus on what it is that you want to bring into your life, whether that's money or whatever it is, whatever kind of situation it is that you want to make, and realize that money is not always the way it comes to you. And put money in its proper place, because money doesn't want to be a god. Money does not want to be a god. And that's why, when we're always talking about chasing the dollar. Well, what happens when you're chased? You run. So no longer chase the dollar. If a guy walks up to you in a bar and he's like, I really like you, would you go out with me? What are you going to do? You're going to run. But if a very confident man comes up to you and says, hey, I think you're a nice person, I'd like to get to know you, what are you going to do? You're going to be more inclined to want to get to know them. And that's the same thing works for every point of energy, including money. If you come up to money with confidence, you say, hey, we could get a few of you in my wallet and we could go have some fun. Money's going to be much more inclined to jump in you than like, please, I've got to have you. What's money going to do? Money's going to go running. And another thing I want to tell you, don't ever make any decisions, especially financial decisions, when you're in a state of despair, anxiety, worry, or fear. Because I can guarantee you one thing. Any decision that you make out of those spaces, you're never going to be happy with, ever. Don't let anyone tell you you have to make a decision this very second. Unless the lion is about to chomp your head off, you don't have to make the decision right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to step into the highest point of joy that you can, and then make your decision. Asking for guidance, asking for inspired action. That's the state I want you to be in, because when you make those choices out of fear, anxiety, worry, or doubt, You know, that's how those check into cash places happen. That's how people pawn their titles. That's, you know, that's because they will go into a state of fear and they're like, I've got to find the first exit off this highway I can find. You know what I mean? And it's not always the best place. Sometimes it's a pretty jinky neighborhood. Oh, thank you, darling. I appreciate that. So, all right. So, financial. The first card for you is spiritual sight card. So this is really, this is about you really starting to, oh, thank you so much. This is about you really kind of tuning into what is the spiritual sight for you. I'm really kind of getting with your third eye chakra about you starting to envision things in your mind. Do you often get, oh, poor Tam, well, you're back, darling. Do you often get like these ideas, or do you often get like these knowing, or not knowings, but like pictures in your mind? You know, I'm really getting for you that that's really about you really working on your third eye chakra, about you cleansing it. Amazing. Okay, right. So that's amazing, and I want you to start really focusing on those things that really bring you joy when you envision them in your mind, and keep bringing that into clarity, because this is when I talked about earlier in the scope. This is the point of reality right here. This is where reality happens, is right here. And when you envision it in your mind, that's what you call forth. So I want you to start calling forth with that power, that great power that you have, right? So just keep focusing on getting that clear. Because as you get that clear, it's not your surrounding, it's not what currently surrounds you that's reality. What current reality is what's right here in your focus, what you're believing, what you're expecting for yourself. All right. And the next card for you is the Angel Therapy card. They want you to rest and relax. And this is like the second or third time we've seen this card tonight. They want you to rest and relax in the knowing that you are being supported. That however you spiritually connect, they're there with you. They've heard you, and now I had not gotten a chance. I think Marie was on there earlier talking about this, but when you're in that state of lack, you're pleading, you're asking. When you go to a fine restaurant, you order one time. And I do the same thing. We're we're twinners on this one. I get that. And so many times by just taking that rest and that relaxation, realizing it's not up to our own effort, it's about our own alignment. That's where it is. It's not about bringing the external in. It's about an internal, focusing out to the world and showing us what we're worth. So yeah, it's about that, knowing that we're so supported by however you think of spiritual guidance. You're so supported right now that, oh, I know what I was going to say, that when you're at a fine restaurant, you only order one time, and then you expect to get it. And that's the same way you want to pray. The first time you want to ask. After, oh, I love that. I love that you feel like you're shifting, and really honor that and get excited about that, because that means you're moving into a new space. You're moving into a new space where you realize that the old paradigm of money or my prestige or blah, 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 blah being what makes me, now you're knowing who you truly are, and you're stepping into that space. And that's the really true point of power, when you get into that space of where it's not about my circumstances, it's not about what comes to me that makes me who I am, it's about who I know that I am that makes me who I am. And that's how the world reacts to you. So after you ask, then you want to get into a state of proclaiming, because then you're in a state of faith. When you're proclaiming it forth after you've asked, then you're in a state of really calling it forth. So that's the next thing I want to tell you about. The next part for you is the healthy lifestyle card. So I so get for you that you're really at this state of where you think you have to just like work, you have to do this, that, something else. You really don't have the time to really take care of yourself. You really don't have the time to honor your own self. It's about you starting to take the time to honor yourself. It's time for you to start taking care of yourself, because what is the most valuable asset you have in your entire life? You. You are the most valuable asset. And if you truly are more valuable right now than the crown jewels, which are you treating better? Hey, from Hawaii, which are you treating better? Because what happens, I see it almost as like this fabric, like this mesh. And if you take any one point of that mesh and you pull it up, it pulls up all the other parts of your life. And so what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you that if you start truly honoring and taking care of your physical body, what will happen is you'll start expecting more for yourself. You'll start believing more for yourself. And more will start happening for yourself. And the other parts of your life will get better. I mean, I used to be 320 pounds. Now I'm in the best physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual shape I've ever been in my life. I'm 165 pounds. I'm at about 14% body fat. And I'm getting more opportunities for dates right now than I got when I was in my 20s, and I'm 52 years old. And why am I saying that? I'm just talking about how, as I've been focusing on my physical body and taking care of that, my whole life has changed. And it's not about me bragging or anything like that. It's just saying that if you take care of the most precious part, getting stuck in. If you start taking care of the most precious, valuable thing that you have right now on this earth, and that's your physical body, that's you, that's your mindset. As you do that, everything changes. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. I so appreciate that. It's so kind of you. So yeah, take care of yourself, and I get that for you, and that's really going to change. The last one is the relationship harmony card. Oh, thank you so much. Now this isn't dealing with just like regular relationships with people, although it is, because money flows through people. Money flows through people. This is your relationship with not only people, it's your relationship with money. That's what I'm hearing. It's your relationship with money, about you starting to put money in its proper place. One thing that I've done is I tell people to do what I call a cathartic letter. Or sometimes it's a manifesto. You can do one of the two, whichever one really kind of resonates with you. And what I mean by that, a cathartic letter is like, say you have a situation that's just been bothering you. You do a mind dump. You take a piece of, or sometimes it's 14 pieces of paper. You write down everything you think about that, and don't judge yourself. I know when I did a cathartic letter, it was on something somebody had done to me a long time ago. Money flows through people. Drop the mic, girl. So what I did was I wrote down. It took about 14 pieces of paper before I was finally finished. I mean, there was a flamethrower. There was somebody getting run over by a car. Hey, Dina, how you doing? There was a machine gun. So what I'm saying to you is, you write down whatever is in your brain. You get it out, and don't judge it. Just let yourself write it. What I'm saying for you is to do that with money. Do either a cathartic letter with money, stating everything, money, you weren't here for me then, and money, you did this to me, and because of not having enough money, and blah, blah, you get it out. Get it out. Or you can do either that, or you can do what I call a manifesto. You can just absolutely write a letter to the universe and to money and say, I now stand in a space where I proclaim forth who I am. I proclaim forth what I desire to bring into my life. I know that it is in my power to call forth, because I'm at the leading edge of expansion. Absolutely. And there's a reason, you Great Gold, you're in here with us. We're all in the same mindset. So I think maybe it might be more of a manifesto for you to just proclaim who you are in relationship with money. No, there's no try, darling. There's only do. There's only do. Just do it. Just do it and believe it. Believe it and know it. And just keep writing. If you have to, just keep adding to it and adding to it. Absolutely. So it's about you with relationship harmony with money and with people, because like Stephanie was like, boom, money comes through people. So there you go. All right. So I hope that was helpful to you, darling. I'm going to do the one more reading. That was Marionette. Marionette, are you still in the scope with us tonight? And if so, I will do that last one. Boom. Drop the mic out the door. Great. That's what Yoda said. Because when we try, darling, you can, Tamham, I'll tell you what, why don't you look at the, can you get the replay? I can't really, I'm like motivation self-love. Okay. So, because I can be like an Etch-a-Sketch. I really don't remember what your cards were, to be honest with you, darling. I'm like an Etch-a-Sketch. It's like, shoo. Oh, thank you, Marie. You're so very sweet. You're so very sweet. Laura, darling, I've got to leave soon. My voice is almost gone, but I'll tell you what. If you will message me at facebook.com, The Angel Encourager, I'll see what I can do for you over there. And please get on my newsletter, and I will motivation through this dark night of the soul. Okay, and I've been through that dark night of the soul. I've absolutely been there. And so I can tell you that it was really from a point of me focusing on my fears, and those are absolutely what came true to me. And the great thing about a dark night of the soul is there's only one way, and that's up. That's all you've got left. Now you're at a point in this dark night of the soul where you get to decide who you are. You get to decide who you are, and you get to decide, how you're going to live your life from this point. Because once you've lost everything, there's nothing else left to lose. The only thing you have left is your own authentic self. So how exciting is that? How exciting is it now? Were there any spirits for you? Yes, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. They're not really connecting with me tonight, Atlanta. I'm sorry, they're really not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They have to really kind of, they have to really push to come through. Because for me, I'm more in the ascended masters in the angelic realm. Not to say that the others are lower, but they have to really kind of force their way through to get for me. So Marionette, oh wow, ooh, I'm kind of excited about this one. All right, so motivation, motivation. Your very first card is the Spread Your Wings card. Now, Atlanta, if you want to go to, if you'll check out PCA_Angel, he connects really, really quickly with Transition Souls. So if you're on, watch out for his scope. He usually does one about this time, so you can check him out and see. So really, about motivation is about spreading your wings. So what it's about is about you really deciding it's time for you to go for it. It's time for you to, really kind of decide who you are, and let yourself be in that space. I get that you're really holding yourself back from something. You're really holding yourself back from being your authentic self. You're thinking that people are going to judge you. You're thinking that Jesus does love us. He absolutely does. Thank you so much for telling us that. He absolutely does. Yes. Jesus is amazing. You know what the most amazing thing about Jesus is? That he did some amazing things in his life. And what was one of the things he said? He said we would do far greater things than him. How exciting is that? It's time for us to stand in that power. It's time for us to stand in that we are able to do far greater things than Jesus did. Jesus did some pretty rockin' stuff, okay? So isn't that cool? Isn't that exciting? So thank you for reminding us of that. That's amazing. Hey, Leah Wallace coming back in again. So, Marionette, it's about you really spreading your wings, deciding that it's your time. It's your time. Right now is your time to shine. It's your time to spread your wings. For you to, I almost see it as a time for you to really decide, who it is and who you are, and how you want to be seen in this world, how you want to really step out there. It's kind of a time of exploration for you is really what I'm feeling. So get excited about the point that you're in that dark night of the soul, that you're really in that space, because now is the time for you to really reform who you are, to really decide who you are in this moment. The next card for you is the Gifts from God card. So what they're really telling me for you right now is there is a secret gift hidden in this. In every single challenge, there's an opportunity. Absolutely every single one, there's an opportunity. Because if you look at anybody that you admire, anybody that you think has been successful, there's been a great challenge that they have been at, where they have been able to step into joy and take the inspired action, and they've been able to find the opportunity that's in that challenge. So right now I want you to start looking for the points of opportunity that are in your challenge. Start looking at the ways that you can grow from here. Start looking at the things that you can do to improve just you. You start improving yourself, because you're the one that shows the world how to treat you. And as you treat yourself better, the world starts doing the same thing. You show the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself and how you think of yourself. So right now this is a great gift from God. I almost see you as like a phoenix bird, kind of going through the flames, and you're like reforming now into the most beautiful creature who's about to spread their wings. So that's so exciting that these are gifts from God. That's the way I want you to think of this situation. It's a gift from God for you. The next one is the chakra clearing card. So this is so much about you really stepping into that full mind, body, spirit, been so hidden within. Yes, I get that. It's about you stepping out of the sympathetic fear, fight, or flight system and stepping into the space where you take those deep belly breaths. Get into the parasympathetic system where you have that clear spiritual guides, where you have that clear connection with spirit. You can get those knowings, you can get those inspirations in your mind, you can get those loving thoughts that are coming to you, from all that is, letting you know who you are and what's possible for you, giving those inspirations. So it's about you stepping into that space, getting out of that fear mind. And what you can do is, if you're in a fearful mind, what you can start doing is you can start acting as though you're relaxed. There's a couple things you can do. You can actually start literally physically dancing. I mean, that's one great way to put you into joy, if you just start physically moving your body around. Or if you start breathing, the breathing long, deep belly breaths. What will happen is you've got these little hamster wheels going on in your brain. You got these little hamster wheels going on, and your brain was like, wait, they're breathing like they're relaxed. And so your brain starts changing. It starts changing the brain waves. It changes your brain waves till you're relaxed, and before you know it, you've breathed yourself into relaxation. It's the most amazing thing, and it's something that you can train yourself to do. Follow the breath. The breath is so amazingly important, and such an amazing way that you can change your whole physicality. You can change your whole physicality doing that. The last card for you, and how many times have we seen this card tonight, is the Clear Your Space card with Archangel Jophiel. So it's so much about you decluttering your mind of all the things that are no longer serving you, realizing what is coming from judgment, what's coming from inspiration. If it feels like it's knocking you over the head, it's from judgment. If it feels like it's calling you forth in a loving manner, that's inspiration. If it gives you joy and bliss and excitement, then that's pure guidance from Spirit. And also start clearing out your space, because almost always our exterior environments match our interior environments. So usually a lot of times, if you can't clear out your head, start clearing out your spaces, and then that will start clearing out your head. It's so amazing how there's this correlation where, like I said with the breathing, if you can't get your mind to stop flowing, you can change your breath and it'll change your mind. If you can't get all the decluttering out of your head, start decluttering your spaces and it'll actually start clearing your head as well. Because any objects that we have that are no longer useful to us drain us of energy. So they so drain us of energy. So as we get rid of those objects, we are able to have more energy for ourselves. And one thing I would like to say about, with that, when I was talking about the hamster wheel with the fear, our normal state of being is joy. So, because you notice when you're in fear or depression or anxiety, you're having to constantly remind yourself of why you're in fear, anxiety, and worry, depression. You're constantly reminding yourself of why you're there. But when you're in joy, you're never having to remind yourself of why you're in joy. And why is that? It's because joy is your natural state of being. So once you come to that realization that your natural state of being is joy, then you start accepting it. And when you start accepting it, you start raising your level of your own self-awareness, your own self-love. And once you pour that love to yourself, you're able to pour it out to other people. Because you can't give out to others what you don't give out to yourself. So give that love to yourself, so that then, therefore, you're able to overflow it and give it out to everyone else. And then it's just this never-ending cycle of love and joy and peace and tranquility is coming to you. So, darling, I hope that was helpful. Was that helpful to you? I've really probably kind of need to go because my voice is almost gone. And I have been talking to people and on webinars. I did a couple webinars tonight. And then I was so blessed to be able to speak to you. Blessings and love to you, darling. And I see so many wonderful things for you. So right now, get excited, because this is a gift from God for you. This is a gift from God for you to decide who you truly are and be able to step into your authentic self. Make yourself new, because we're never there. We're always on a journey. We're never at a destination. We're always on a journey. Always, always. Oh, I hope I can too. I really can. If anybody has any questions for me, please go to facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. I would love for you to message me there. Oh, thank you so much. Would love for you to message me there, and I hope you as much as I can. Absolutely will. Sign up for my newsletter. Take a look at some of my different products. See if any of them resonate with you. Otherwise, I would just love to have you on my newsletter, and I would love to hear from you. Okay? So I want you to know how much I believe in you, how much I love you and believe in you so much. If you ever run out of faith in yourself, step into peak faith in you. And other than that, the angels so believe in you, and the angels so love you. So if you can't step into peak faith, step into angelic faith, because they so believe in you. They so love you right now at this moment. They so much. There's so much on your team. So know that you are never alone. You're always surrounded by love, and you're always surrounded by support. Always, always. How you doing, Turnt? And it's about time for me to step out. So I'm just going to say love, peace.